Yo, it's me, the eagle-eyed one, reading in between the lines again. I saw a video from Joe Rogan's podcast where he featured Mel Gibson talking about the Pope bringing a Bolivian statue to the Vatican, and they've had some kind of ceremony. When asked if this wasn't idolatry,
It's kind of a weasel-worded thing of like, oh, all religions are just as good as one another. But
so this kind of brought me to Revelation chapter 2. In the letter Jesus Christ wrote to the church in Thyatira, and there he spoke about a female figure called Jezebel that was seducing the members of the church and making them commit what was written as sexual immorality. But we know that in the Old Testament, when God accused Israel of worshipping other gods, he called it fornication or adultery. So I'll connect the dots from Pachamama. Who is Pachamama? But I also connect it to the Catholic Church and specifically Marian devotion. Now, in Revelations 2, Jesus Christ talks about Jezebel. Now, Jezebel is dead, so we know it's not a human being. So what is he talking about? I figured it out. I did some research and I found out that Ashtoreth, who Jezebel worshipped, is also known as a goddess of fertility. So Pope brings Pachamama, who is a goddess of fertility, and Jesus Christ warns the church about Jezebel, who worshipped the goddess of fertility. If you ask yourself which church has a female figure, I don't know. I only see the Catholic Church with Marian devotion. Now, some people say, how could you say that's idolatry? Well, if you look at the foundational principles or assumptions that brought up Marian devotion from a Father Louis Mary Grignon, he made some assumptions which add up to idolatry, because he says Jesus Christ was the first Adam, Mary is Eve, the mother of creation as it were. But Adam is the husband to Eve. Jesus Christ is quote unquote the son of Mary. That is some incest relationship you're trying to build there. You know, how could the mother be the wife? That whole assumption is messed up. Now he also says that we as the mediator between God and humankind, Jesus Christ to date is interceding on our behalf in heaven. The Holy Spirit is also interceding on our behalf here with groans that cannot be mentioned. So we have 2/3 of the Godhead interceding on our behalf, and yet we choose to say that Mary is the mediator between God and man. Sounds funny. And number 2, he says before you can consecrate yourself to Jesus, you have to fully consecrate yourself to Mary. Now, Jesus is as they say, the author and finisher of our faith. He's also the way. I mean, from the beginning to the end, he's the way, he's the truth, and he's the life, he's everything. In him we move, live, and have our being. So why do you say we have to consecrate ourselves to Mary before consecrating ourselves to Jesus? That means Jesus is not the beginning, Mary is the beginning. This is not scriptural. This is not what God said. This is idolatry. So even if you say it's not Pachamama or it's not the goddess that Jezebel worshipped, you are still in idolatry. If you have 2/3 of the triune God interceding for you, one in heaven, one inside you, and he says, come to me boldly, that means his shedding of the blood, his dying on the cross, all that show of love is not enough to convince you that he's got you covered, and so you should come to him boldly, as opposed to going to meet Mary to ask her to curry favors for you to Jesus, who has given everything for you. Given the kind of veneration you're giving to Mary is adding up to idolatry. You are the church in Revelations chapter 2. You all need to get across to the Pope and demand some accountability. But check Revelations 2. Jesus Christ is going to cast this Jezebel into a sickbed along with the people following her, and he's going to kill them with death. So I think you should take this message seriously. Find out which church you are, which church fits your identity, between the 7 churches in Revelations 2 and Revelations 3, and know what you ought to do in these end times. Shine light, peace. From out.